Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Wrestling is Cool podcast. Yeah. We are the coolest wrestling podcast on the planet. Have you found yourself doing that unironically throughout the house, Sancho, where you'll just be doing mundane things and then you'll just do the tamatanga? Yeah. I've been doing it. Time. Yeah, man.
All the time. Food's ready? Yeah. I'm all about it, man. What a great day today. Wrestling is cool. Santi, how are you today?
Dude, I'm having a great time. I'm moving. Oh, I've moved.
I see. You have.
Yeah, I'm still surrounded by a ton of garbage. Bubble wrap, still just some boxes that haven't been opened, and just miscellaneous crap that I'm trying to find the right spot for. That's kind of the joy of moving, because then you get to, it's kind of like hitting the reset button, and you get to make a blank slate your own. But it's also a pain in the ass, brother.
Did you discover that you have an absurd amount of HDMI cables?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, what is up with that? There's no way I bought that many. They just spawned.
You did?
It's like, dude, it's almost like I found like a snake's nest where it's like, I think I might have left 2 snakes here, and now they've multiplied, and now there's a ball, 300 snakes. I don't know where these HDMI cables came from, brother.
They are a breeding, my friend.
It's breeding season for HDMI cables.
Basically, this is what the thought process is. You're like, I'm going to need this cable one day. I'm going to put it right over here. Put it in this little box. Before you know it, you got 20 of them, brother.
What literally exactly what happened to me. But folks, welcome to Wrestling is Cool, the coolest wrestling podcast on the planet. If there's any weird little hiccups, technology reasons or whatever, it's on me because of the new setup, but there shouldn't be. But this is your weekly wrestling podcast where we talk about everything that's going on in the world of professional wrestling. Of course, you could be getting this podcast 3 days earlier than everyone else on the planet over on the Patreon, patreon.com/SantiZap, which you can find in the description of wherever it is that you might be watching this, whether it's YouTube, audio feeds, whatever it might be. But over on the Patreon, not only will you get this episode 3 days early, you will get 5 Wrestling is Cool Match Club watch-alongs every single week. You will get Ruthless Sancho as he watches through the era that is the Ruthless Aggression era, some of the most iconic matches. He's already done Eddie versus Brock Lesnar. He's done John Cena versus Kurt Angle and Ruthless Aggression. And there's so much more to come. Come check it out. There's other extra little shows in there like the Raw review, SmackDown review, NXT review, and even Wrestling is Cool Gaming. There's a lot there. There's a tremendous amount of content on the Patreon, more than what you actually see on my YouTube channel that already gives you daily content. It's just compounding interest of wrestling content. Come check it out.
Wow, it's
good, right?
Pretty fancy word there.
Compounding interest. Did you know that the compounding interest, according to some mathematician dude, is like the 9th wonder of the world?
I thought China was.
Oh, that's true. I don't know, man. I feel like compounding interest is
Nope.
No, we're going to go with China. Oh.
China was the first thing in my lexicon.
Sancho,
I didn't know there was wonders of the world until
this is no longer a wrestling podcast. This is financial advice. All right, we're just going to tell you to invest 10% of your paycheck into the S&P 500. Let the compounding interest work, and by age 65, you'll be a millionaire. Bada bing, bada boom. Richest guys in the room. How you doing?
I was going to say, though, there was a guy that I used to work with at a digital media company that was on the Bitcoin thing. He was like, yeah, man, you should take, half your paycheck and put it in Bitcoin. It was like early. And I wish I listened to him. I wouldn't be here.
I had not a friend of mine. It was a friend of a friend that I met in college. Yeah. And this was 2013. Where I still thought that Bitcoin was, this is weird. But I think at that point, Bitcoin was already at like $400 per coin.
Right.
Somewhere around that part.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, about like 2 years ago, I sold a handful of Bitcoin for some, I don't think I can say it on YouTube, some devil's lettuce. And now looking back on it, it's like, brother, yeah, for just a good night in the munchies and probably, next day slight hangover, you probably spent like $80,000
at least.
Like, dude,
minimum.
Oh, that'd be the worst. Absolutely the worst. Is it as bad though? Is it as bad as Chad Gable has been Is it as
he's so mean?
He's so ruthless. You like that transition though, right? It's not bad.
I did.
It's good. Dude, he is a piece of trash. I know I ruined it. It's like, yeah.
You did.
It's Schrodinger's cat.
The what?
I don't know. I just tried to.
Now you're making it worse. Like you're pressing it. You're like.
No, Schrodinger's cat is some sort of like physics thing that I'm pretty sure I used
wrong. What are you doing? Finances, science, physics.
This is what people want, no?
Is wrestling. It is like bottom of the barrel.
Chad Gable.
It's carny stuff, brother. Yes, Chad Gable.
Chad Gable has been arguably in the forefront of my favorite thing going on in professional wrestling right now. I am so invested in what they're doing with Chad Gable. I'm invested with the humiliation that they're putting Alpha Academy through because, and here's the thing, if this was the Vince McMahon era, I would say this is going nowhere. This is just going to be several weeks of humiliating Alpha Academy. Otis is going to then step up, have a match against Chad Gable, and lose. But this is the Triple H era. This is going to be built up to something big. And you can hear the rumbling in the audience as to how over Otis is. Whenever he actually turns on Chad Gable, whenever he actually steps up, it's going to be a monumental pop. And I'm calling it here right now on the Wrestling is Cool podcast. Chad Gable, Otis, Intercontinental Championship, SummerSlam. Bada beam, bada boom. That early.
That's early.
That's early, brother. I think that's what they run. I think Sami Zayn loses to Chad Gable at
Clash
at the Castle. And the next big storyline is going to be the abuse and the growth and the eventual breaking off of the limb of Otis, and he's going to go after that Intercontinental Championship.
Well, I kind of do see that because, Cleveland Browns, Cleveland is a town of underdogs, is a town of an Otis. And for Otis to rise to be IC title holder, it wouldn't be a long reign, though, but it'd be like a monument to mankind type of moment for the big doggy.
I didn't say he'd win. I just want to say that.
What?
I didn't say he'd win.
You literally just said, if this was Vince booking, he would get built up to the point and then lose. Are you kidding me?
No, hey, but they wouldn't get built up like this. And I could see Chad Gable becoming the cornerstone of the mid card. And I think that's what they're going to set him up as. And I do think that this could be a trilogy of matches. Because I don't think that Chad Gable should lose the first go around against Otis. I think Chad Gable will cheat. I think Chad Gable will use low blows. If you want a real dastardly Chad Gable, he will threaten and have Maxine Dupree in an ankle lock yelling, "I will snap her ankle unless you count yourself out." That would be a brilliant way to, of course, protect Otis and continue the storyline, continue to build it, and continue to have Chad Gable grow to be this awful human being that he continues to be every single week. Tell me that you wouldn't love that finish.
The old, what was it, Edge and Beth Phoenix?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Santi, where'd you move? Did you move to the kitchen? Because you're cooking right now. I don't know. Woo! You got the tinfoil hat on. You came prepared today. You got notes and everything. I'm just to let you know, behind the curtain, Santi was like, "I want to talk about Alpha Academy." I'm like, "All right, little guy."
Little guy? Is that what all right, buddy.
Wait,
all right.
Yeah, all right, buddy. See what you got. The only thing is, like, I know we critique. We had a nice little seminar, a debate in regards to Triple H booking. I think what works this time on Monday Night Raw is he didn't do the same kind of vehicle. It was getting tiresome of seeing just on the microphone Chad Gable just berating everybody, but this time it was like a little variety, a little nuance, a little bit of a different approach to having Maxine deliver what Chad wanted to say to Sami to set up a trap and then to continue on that path. And for Chad the thing about Chad Gable is he's towing a line, and that line is very scary to tow in a PG type of era, where he's like telling Maxine to get on her knees and beg, and you're just like, dude, this guy is diabolical, is the word I'm looking for. Very diabolical, and it's a different kind of heel because you know that Chad could kind of back up his walk, back up his talk with his walk that he has, because he could just suplex you to oblivion. What has been the only thing that has stopped Chad from winning? It is this. It is him willing to go there, to go down to a deeper thing. And this is because our boy Gunther broke him. Gunther did this.
I agree.
This is Gunther's doing.
I agree. Didn't it feel extra slimy, extra gross seeing him praise Alpha Academy afterwards?
Yes. That's what I liked about it.
It was so disgusting.
Oh, this is good. This was
but
good.
I loved
it's gaslighting.
it. Oh.
Gaslighting. It's the hot and cold treatment. You ever read that book, The Book of Power?
No.
You ever heard of this book?
No.
It's a book about, how to... It's the book about how to read situations so you could have the most amount of power in a variety of different relationships, and that it's mostly used in business to figure out what are your weaknesses and what people would prey on so that you could aikido them and flip it around them. I'm butchering it and it's in a nutshell, but it's very much that. And then there's a section in the book called Hot and Cold. And that is what Gable is doing. He is doing a hot and cold approach, being very, very mean, very, very cold, very, very bitter to Alpha Academy, and then very, very sweet and very, very hot, very loving. And so it creates this need that in order to find warmth, you would only get it from one source, and that is Chad Gable.
Damn, that's deep, man.
Dude, we are all about it.
Dude, what is this? Literature, mathematics, finance.
Yes. To be real though, wrestling does encumber all of these items. Wrestling is a way of life.
I love that you compared it to aikido too.
I did.
I like that.
You think that's real? You think aikido's real?
No, man. Aikido's is a sham, brother.
Whoa,
aikido's a sham.
Steve Seagal working out one of these little bikes.
Yeah, dude.
What?
Dude, every single one of those guys that he like wrist throws could beat the ever living crap out of Steven Seagal. I believe that firmly with the bottom of my heart.
Dude. You think imagine if there was a if I had aikido, that'd be kind of sick.
No, I wouldn't. Aikido's so lame. It's so dumb. It's so stupid. You know what? Listen, this is how much I'm going to call out aikido right now. Steven Seagal. Sancho right here would like to fight you. I am volunteering Sancho West in a one-on-one aikido off.
No, I had a theater professor who believed in aikido, and he would do aikido stuff too. That stuff's real, bro.
No, it's not.
He would grab your look. It's the point. Look, listen, my little wrist.
Your little bitch boy wrist and flip you all over the place.
I can't hear you. You're literally peeking so hard in the microphone. No, you're like, yeah. He would grab me and you pull it, dude. You could control a man by his wrist. Yeah.
No. Dude.
Okay. Question. Sidebar here.
Sidebar.
What MMA style that is not the obvious would you want to see a wrestler do? Like, I'm thinking in mixed martial arts is such a broad thing. Like, drunken boxing sounds amazing to me. I would love like drunken wrestler. Like, that'd be cool.
That would have worked really well in the Attitude Era and in the gimmick era of the early 90s for sure. There's a Mortal Kombat character, Bo Raicho, that does that.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
He farts too.
He does. He's like Wario. He's the Wario of look at that. Yeah. Even bringing up gaming here. Look at the variety of content and entertainment that you're getting. But I think I like the drunken fist, that style. Isn't that what it's called? The drunken fist? It's actually like a style of fighting.
It's a legit style. Like I think that'd be cool because one of their gimmick would be that they would fall into the pin for the win.
I like that.
I mean, like they'll do like a move out of bang, and then just
Oh, that'd be. I mean, I don't think it's the greatest comparison, but to some degree, I feel like Orange Cassidy kind of embodies that to some degree, not obviously like exactly one by one.
No, I think you're onto something because in the movie Jackie Chan's Drunken Master, great kung fu movie, by the way, I highly recommend it. And what he would do is like there would be a moment where he snaps and then he goes into a higher gear. And Orange Cassidy does have that higher gear.
Right.
That's like he comes a state of consciousness, so to speak. And he goes at it. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, because for those of you who know, in the Wrestling is Cool Match Club, we watch a variety of different promotions, and we watched Joe Hendry versus Moose, and that's coming up very soon. And wrestling could encapsulate different styles, and I think Orange Cassidy is a taste. He's a very nuanced taste that if you could enjoy his style, you could enjoy a lot of different styles. But it's a hard pill, so to speak, to swallow for traditional wrestling fans. I don't think an Orange Cassidy would work well in the WWE, but he would work well in NXT.
I agree. I do agree. I do think that Orange Cassidy has the ability. Well, here's the thing too. Like, we've seen him get really intense, and we've seen him have unbelievably good matches. You know, I think of that match with Jon Moxley. That's still just one of my favorite matches of last year. I like those characters that can go from the silly to the badass. In that, I actually think is the reason why I love what's going on with Chad Gable so much, right? Backstage, Maxine, Tozawa, you were so good, Otis, and then gives him a big kiss, and then with the snap of a finger, he can turn into this diabolical version of himself. I like that the rubber banding that you can have with certain characters, because not everyone can pull off that super broad range of both emotional and physical acting, because even his body language and the way he moves around changes when he goes from loving to absolutely dreadful.
Yep. It kind of, it's, what's the word I was going to look for? It kind of hit you nailed it. It's very Joker-esque a little bit too. Like he just seems uneasy. You feel very uneased around Chad Gable. Like you know this guy is going to go off the deep end. It kind of reminds me, the thought I was going to say is a lot of the best actors in our day and age are comedic actors when they get serious and dramatic. And for Chad to go from just a jokey character into this serious heel, I think it's going to do wonders. And I don't think this is just the beginning for a heel Chad. It's going to get better. I mean, we already saw him talking to the Creed brothers in the background when Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair were walking to the ring. If he gets the Creed brothers and then manipulates them too, and you're just going to be like, oh no, these poor young boys, being manipulated, being groomed to be these devilish heels. It's gonna be a great, that like when I look at the threads of wrestling for Monday Night Raw, you go like, this one's a solid track. Like you could see the path, you could see the variety of different ways it could branch out to you. Like this is a good tree.
Where do you see, like, you talk about branching in trees. Where do you see this Liv Morgan stuff going? Because this is the one where I can't. I gave you my fantasy booking of Otis and where I think it could go. I feel like I could make, at the very least, a realistic 4-month outlook for this Alpha Academy storyline. I can't tell you what's going to happen next week with Liv Morgan and the Judgment Day.
I feel what they're laying down the groundwork is Liv is like a parasite, and she's going to infiltrate Judgment Day and just rot out the entire faction. She's already going after Dom. She's going to go after Finn. She's going to go after JD. And then she's going to eventually go after Damian.
A succubus.
The entire goal for Liv is just to destroy everything that Rhea loves. And I think the end is when Rhea returns. The only thing that the trepidatious thought I had going into this angle is, how you have to be perfect in executing this, because romance and love triangles and affairs and wrestling just kind of either come off as slimy or they come off as just cheesy. There's no in between sometimes. And I think that they're definitely on the line of sliminess. Like they're definitely on the line of that. The fun for me is like Dom said, he goes, I don't know, bro. The ladies just love me. That's what he literally said. And then I don't know if you saw on Instagram, and I sent it to you before the podcast, but if you go to Dominic's Instagram, he posts a reel of Liv Morgan liking every single post on it. And he goes to notifications, he's like, dude, what is this? And I replied, run for your life, Dom. And then JD commented on that post. He goes, I'm telling you, dude, it's the mustache. like he wrote that as a comment. So I'm enjoying that fun and aspect of it. But there is a part of me that goes like, I wonder if there's a woman in the writer's room writing all these things as well. Like, is there a voice in that room to kind of balance out this very male dominant storyline, so to speak, to have this woman seduce everybody in the Judgment Day? It's just a question. There probably is, most likely, but I feel that the WWE needs to. They are flying really high, really close to the sun, because the Attitude Era in its grimiest of days was not great at these kinds of stories. They were bad at these stories. Very, very bad. Like, remember the storylines where it would be someone coming out of the locker room and they're like in their towels and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And you're just like, oh, like why? Why are we? I think Batista was a part of one of them.
Oh, dude, yeah, Batista. There was the Shelton Benjamin had a famous one with Trish Stratus. Yeah. Cena had a couple. I do feel like this is
Like,
different than that, though, just because this is
100%
female-led. Female-led
Yes.
as well.
Yes. So I'm just hoping that when it comes to this execution, I think it's done in a very great way. I like the idea of Monday Night Raw where Liv is approaching Dom. Finn comes in for the save in a different kind of way. And then I love that when Dom was about to get destroyed by Braun Strowman, Liv steps in. I'm like, ooh, now we're cooking because you know what's going to happen, right? Dominic Mysterio is going to go, hey, David, can Liv join Judgment
Oh,
Day?
just bring another stray cat.
She saved me, brother. Like, please let her join. So I think when you ask me where's it going to go, where do you see the end? I think I'm hoping that WWE does something different. It could do the easy thing where Rhea comes back, Rhea and Dom kiss, and that, fireworks and, their relationships together. But I would like a future where Rhea does not bring back Dom or, rejects Dom and maybe Liv and Dom go off or, there's a variety of different ways to do this. But I think the WWE does have a unique position here that they could pull off something completely different. Maybe Liv and Rhea realize Dom is not the one and they move on without him. There's so many interesting ways they could go. But obviously, the moment that will get the biggest pop is Rhea and Dom reuniting.
So I have I have a problem with everything that you just said, because you're right about everything that you just said. But everything that you just said involves somebody that's not around, Rhea Ripley. Which is why I bring back my original point of I don't know where they're going with this in the short term.
It's her destroying Judgment Day. She has to destroy Judgment Day.
So
that's what I said. Yeah.
But what about the women's title? What about her individual feuds? Nothing seems relevant until Rhea Ripley comes back.
It's the Rhea Ripley problem again. Remember when Rhea held the title? What was the most interesting thing that she was doing?
I don't remember.
Being the mommy of the Judgment Day.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
That's what they're doing with Liv Morgan. They are using the title as a way to draw power to the Judgment Day. She's using that title as a crutch for Judgment Day to say, join me. I'm the women's champion. I'm your new mommy.
Yeah, because look at the women's division right now, right?
On Raw, it's awful.
Becky Lynch isn't there.
All tag team stuff.
Right, all tag team stuff. That's a good point.
All tag team stuff.
Becky Lynch is gone. They teased that she's retired, which that instantly tells me that she's coming back.
And they still talk about Becky.
Yeah,
Lyra
exactly.
still talks about her.
You mentioned it. Lyra busy with Io, which means Io is busy with Lyra. There's no credible
and then tag team.
Yeah, there's no credible singles competitor right now for Liv Morgan, unfortunately, which means we are sorry, DIY. We're here we go. It means
you sound like a Blippi episode. Go ahead.
It means that we are left with a Liv Morgan feud that isn't actually at the moment helping elevate the women's division. It's like elevating Judgment Day.
That's where the belt is at this point.
Yeah.
Do you feel that where can they paint themselves out of it? Do you think they should insert another like Natalya? I'm not saying Natalya, but because remember Natalya said enough is enough. It's time for a change. And
I'm okay with that. Sure, give me a Natty versus Liv Morgan feud. I'm okay with that. It's just that it would just feel like too much of a stopgap for what's very clearly supposed to be the next chapter of the story, which is the Rhea Ripley. And that's a problem because they're not around. It's the problem with Cody Rhodes and The Rock. We know that that's the next big turning of the page of Cody's story, but The Rock isn't around. So it just makes it difficult for me to, on a week-to-week basis, get excited over Liv Morgan being champion. I'm excited that she's involved in the storyline and being the succubus of the Judgment Day, but I don't know that she needed the title for that, aside from the whole taking everything from Rhea thing.
It's part of the power. It's the power that she has. I think, unfortunately, with Rhea, the title became just a symbol of power.
Sure.
It's not a symbol of wrestling prestige for Rhea Ripley, even though she's undefeated and she dominated that. You seem kind of down about that.
I'm
I'm
down.
reading the tea leaves.
Yeah, I'm just down about it because I think it means that we're not going to see this women's championship be defended for a really long time. I don't think that it's going to appear in premium live events. I think it's just in a state
An accessory?
Yeah, it's an accessory. It's in like cryogenesis right now, just waiting for Rhea Ripley. And I don't think that that's good. At least Cody Rhodes has other stuff going on as we wait for The Rock. I don't see that realistically happening with Liv Morgan right now.
Well, let me throw you a lifeline. Let me throw that out to you. I see you drowning right now in your sorrows. You're like the Artex in the swamp of sadness.
Oh,
you ever seen that movie?
No, that's deep though.
You ever seen? Oh wow.
No.
Never ending story, dude. It's the story of it. There's a part where Atreyu is going across the swamp of sadness and his horse gets stuck in it, and the horse just accepts its fate and just.
Oh. Dude, that's
very sick.
That's depressing. Jeez.
It's a children's movie too.
Oh my God.
Children's movies back in the 80s, dude, they were different, brother.
That's traumatizing. Yeah. Anyway, so this dying horse.
Let me pull you out, Artex. That's what basically I'm saying. NXT roster could help. This is where the NXT, someone gets called up, has a little feud. Who since you're the man of NXT, who do you see from that roster could give a decent run against Liv Morgan just for a little bit?
Frickin' no one, because the main roster because the main roster rated all of the main event talent from NXT.
What about Blair Davenport? I know she's on SmackDown.
She's on SmackDown. Wouldn't work. She's a heel. What else you got?
I wasn't really impressed with Kiana James.
Kiana James got called up way too early. That was was confused. Kiana James actually would have been, her next step would have been the NXT main event scene. Yeah. She got called from like the mid card.
I don't know why they put her on her match with Natalya so soon. I felt it felt like I was watching a main event match.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, sure.
Not bad, but not Raw worthy.
Yeah, I do think that of all of the women that got called up, she was the most Raw.
What about Ivy Nile? A little bit of a run?
Sure. You excited about that?
No, but it's like, who did Rhea fight when she was a champion? She had no one either, dude.
Yeah, but that was partly because of how bad the Raw roster was, and the Raw women's roster is still
bad.
It's bad again.
This is what happens when you move Nia Jax from Raw to SmackDown. We were like, what? And then this is what happens when they literally put Jade and Bianca together. It's like, okay, well, who's gonna go after the champ? So that tells me two things, Santi, is you may be all doom and gloom, but that means Rhea's right around the corner. I feel like Rhea is around that corner, and she won't wallow. Liv won't wallow in this situation where she's going to be not having a match. In theory, you could say that everybody would be broken down by Liv in 3 to 4 weeks. I say around SummerSlam, she would have complete control of Judgment Day, thus bringing back Rhea Ripley. I think Rhea comes back at SummerSlam, unless the injury is so bad that she's out until Rumble.
Comes back at SummerSlam or for a match at SummerSlam?
At SummerSlam.
Okay.
So Judgment Day, maybe Damian. This is like the last pin to drop, so to speak. Let me put on my booking hat. The last pin to drop is Damian. Liv helps Damian at SummerSlam. Liv is about to take over Judgment Day, celebrate with Judgment Day with a win, and Rhea's music hits. That would be like one of the last. Like, do you think Cody's having a match at SummerSlam?
Of course.
Okay, so that would be. I was hoping that would be a cool lasting. Like that would be a banger of an indie moment of SummerSlam when Rhea comes back.
Rhea Ripley's big enough to close SummerSlam. It all depends on
what I mean. Yeah.
What Cody Rhodes is having what he's doing and who he's facing. Because if it's The Rock, that's closing. But the odds of it
he's
being
not facing The Rock at SummerSlam.
If it's Randy Orton, that's closing. If it's there's some people where like there is no ifs, ands, or buts. That's 100%, closing. 100%. If it's Solo Sikoa to set up a return for Roman Reigns, that's closing.
Yes. I influenced you so much you like thumbing yourself now. I love it.
Don't say it like that.
What do you mean? That's what Solo does. He got a big thumb.
Yeah, he doesn't thumb himself though. He thumbs other people. Where the hell are we talking about? SummerSlam.
We're talking about SummerSlam. No, we're talking about Liv Morgan and the state of the belt.
Mm-hmm. I'm nervous. It's all.
Okay.
I'm nervous.
Okay.
I'm excited
I'm not. We got 4 or 5 weeks of the Judgment Day just collapsing. That's what's exciting to me.
I'm excited for the internal story of the Judgment Day. Let me clarify. I'm excited for that story. I'm nervous for the title in the women's division.
Well, look, man, titles sometimes don't mean anything, apparently, in Triple H's booking, all right? Sometimes.
And I think that might be one of those times right now. Anywho's, and we talked a little bit about NXT. NXT has this pay-per-view, shall we call it, premium live event called NXT Worlds Collide, where it was sometimes NXT.
Sounds like an AEW.
Right? Yeah. Where they would have people from NXT having matches against people from NXT UK, NXT versus 205 Live. Sometimes it would be like somebody from the main roster coming down to have a pay-per-view match. And now we're seeing these people from TNA coming in. I could potentially see a world where we do NXT Worlds Collide versus TNA. That'd be super cool. And then Swerve Strickland opened his beautiful mouth and threw out the idea of potentially being in a time and place where WWE as a business is in a place where AEW and AEW and WWE collaborating finally makes sense. I want to get your thoughts on that because we're seeing it with TNA and WWE. But look, I'll play both angel and devil's advocate here. So the TNA relationship is beneficial for both. Why is it beneficial for both? It's beneficial for both because it's not going to bring eyeballs to NXT, because if you watch TNA, if you're that deep into wrestling that you watch TNA, you probably already watch NXT and WWE main roster, most likely. But it's beneficial to WWE and NXT because it is an infusion of talented, seasoned veterans into the NXT roster, which they desperately need right now. It's beneficial to TNA because it's eyeballs. That's where they benefit, right? They get the online buzz. They get new eyeballs, WWE fans, NXT fans that are like, what's going on in TNA? Let me pop in, have a look. What about AEW? Can we find that same level of a symbiotic relationship like I just laid down there for TNA and NXT? Because I don't think that Tony Khan, and let's call it his ego, would be down for it to be NXT and AEW. I think it would be main roster in AEW. Is there that same symbiotic relationship? Could you say that, yeah, look at the infusion of talent that AEW would give the main roster? Sure, but the main roster is not lacking talent. It doesn't need extra talent. And AEW would be getting millions of extra eyeballs. And I feel like it would be a very one-sided relationship in favor of AEW, unlike TNA and NXT, where I really think both sides benefit. That's me playing the devil's advocate for this situation between AEW and WWE. I gave you what I think are both scenarios. What do you think?
I think in a Vince era, no. I think in a Triple H era, I think anything's possible. I think Triple H and TKO are always down to clown, as they say.
I don't like that. I don't know why I don't like that term. I've never liked down to clown.
Come on, bro. We're always down to clown.
Down to clown. I think it might be because it rhymes. I don't like it.
Yeah, you know, like come on, turn that front upside down, dude. You're down to clown, brother.
I hate it.
Oh my god. No, I think that the reason why you would want it is because think of the amount of business that could draw in general, and the amount of buzz they could draw, and that is what wrestling's all about. I just think that the WWE doesn't benefit from an AEW standpoint, but it benefits in a way as a goodwill gesture for wrestling fans to say that we could set aside business deals for storylines, because there's a lot of WWE talent in an AEW, and that's where I think that Tony Khan would be open it, because first and foremost, he's a WWE fan and he still loves and reveres WWE. That's why he has a lot of AEW talent is WWE talent. You wouldn't go out and put so much money on the line on a 50-year-old Adam Copeland unless you love Edge.
On this day.
Yeah. So those kinds of things that you could see that Tony would be open to. And the only way that Triple H and TKO would be open to is if they were going to try to branch into different markets like like Mexico with the
CMLL, AAA, but AEW is not a new market.
Well, no, I mean like New Japan, like all those kinds of things, and Ring of Honor, like all those things AEW does have a stronghold in. But if you dissect what is an AEW fan, you kind of hinted at it with the TNA. It is the hardcore wrestling. And for the WWE, they go from, 5-year-olds all the way up. They have a broader range of an audience. And so it would be that osmosis of AEW kind of taking more than giving. But again, it's more of a goodwill gesture. Like, I would love to see Jon Moxley and Roman Reigns. It's that kind of thing, and that's where AEW excels at the most. You cannot deny, as a WWE fan, you cannot deny that AEW's pay-per-views, their match if you look at the cards, they are insane. Like the quality of match versus match, dream match that you would never see ever. It would always happen to AEW, and if they could get that kind of magic for WWE, I think that's what's missing sometimes with WWE. That magic of, holy dude, we're getting this dude versus that dude, and we've never got that before. Like Gunther versus Randy, that was a dream match type of scenario, but it wasn't really billed that way. WWE didn't build up to the fact that this is Gunther and Randy's first time fighting. It was built in a way because it was the King of the Ring finals.
It was by de facto as opposed to by feud.
Right. And it would have been nice for WWE to kind of lean on that. And then when Gunther did beat Randy, that would have been a bigger deal, considering that Randy has never, that Gunther beat Randy for the first time. So there's so many things that AEW does do better than the WWE, and I think they could both benefit from it. But let's take one more step back really quickly. When New Japan and AEW worked together in Forbidden Door, who benefited the most in that relationship?
AEW. Far and away.
Right. And you would say that New Japan had a bigger footing than Japan, so to speak, right?
Yes, yeah.
And what ended up happening after that was AEW started siphoning more and more talent from New Japan after that Forbidden Door. More and more New Japan wrestlers came over. Now, literally, the New Japan champion, Jon Moxley, is in AEW, right? He's holding that belt over there. That could happen. That could happen where AEW and WWE, they do Forbidden Door. AEW takes more. And what's going to happen is you're not going to have a WWE title on AEW. That's never going to happen.
And if they were to do that, WWE is winning most of those matches.
I would say the only positive way to do this is for charity. And I would think that'd be sick. If it was just like a charitable event, all proceeds go somewhere. You get like a title versus title exhibition match. You get Team WWE, Team AEW for the men and women. I think that'd be sick, dude.
Connor's Cure, baby.
Like a celebration. Yeah, a celebration for wrestling. Like we could put aside our differences and we could have a charitable night and we could celebrate wrestling. I think that would be cool, but there's just too much money. You cannot. AEW is literally the little boat in a storm, and WWE is a big old cruise ship. You just gotta keep on floating, keep on going if you're a WWE.
Yeah, look, from a fan point of view, would I want to see that? Oh my God, yeah, absolutely, 100%. But just from a realistic point of view, why would WWE want to cast a spotlight on their continental rival in North America? Right, casting a light on, let's say, on Stardom, on CMLL, AAA, on Evolve Pro Wrestling, whatever it might be, that doesn't impact WWE in any way, shape, or form because they aren't going after the same market. They aren't trying to get the same TV deals. They're not competing for advertisers. They're not competing really, for the most part, for talent, eyeballs. WWE and AEW are direct competitors. They are gunning after the same thing. They are trying to get a foothold and trying to get all of the eyeballs of people in North America. That obviously around the world as well, but that's both of their biggest markets. WWE already has the stranglehold on that market. Why give a helping hand to AEW unless, like you said, it's for charity? It doesn't make any business sense whatsoever. Like I said before, TNA and NXT makes a lot of sense. But not the main NXT and AEW. That makes sense, but Tony Khan would never do it. Main roster in AEW, WWE would never do it. It's just too one-sided for AEW in terms of benefits.
I hear that, but there's one thing that AEW has that WWE likes.
The power of love.
No.
Okay.
Try again. One more time.
Power of friendship.
No, close. One more time.
Hatred.
The power of money, Santi. If the WWE does business in Saudi Arabia for a truckload of money, the Khans have a truckload of money and more. They could say, hey, we want to do a one-time only pay-per-view, Forbidden Door with WWE, and we will pay $500 million. You don't think WWE would go, okay.
Dude, I think then you have to get into business forecasting. This 500 million injection of cash right now.
Oh God.
I know, dude, I know. We talked finance at the start. We forecasted it. This $500 million injection of cash right now. Will we net profit from that or actually net lose over the next 10 years with the spotlight that we give AEW?
If WWE owned the rights to the pay-per-view, if it was on the Peacock, if you had to watch Peacock to get it,
why would Tony Khan pay for that?
Because he needs the advertising. He needs the eyeballs. He needs to let the world know that he has Jon Moxley, aka Dean Ambrose.
Or
he needs. What if Warner Brothers says, "Hey, we would only give you your new TV deal if you get a WWE PLE"?
You'd have to pony up. I just think that when you're talking about feeding a potential giant down the line, 500 million up front today. Obviously, I know that we're talking arbitrary numbers because we don't know what something like that would actually cost. Let's go with $1 billion. Let's say they pay $1 billion. It could. I know. Just play along here.
Okay.
It could be that $1 billion in the grand scheme of the next 10 years becomes obsolete if AEW gets so much foothold because of this partnership with WWE that they
one
take
PLE. One PLE.
Dude, it is a domino effect.
Where Cody goes over.
Dude, it is a domino effect. But all I'm saying is, if you're WWE, okay, and this is the real question. If you're WWE, why take the risk? Why take the risk for any amount of money when you're already drowned in cash from Netflix, from Saudi Arabia, from CW, from USA Network, from your own internal merch sales, ticket sales where you're record breaking? Why take the risk on a giant infusion of cash today when you could potentially implode the company, even if it's unlikely? Why even add to the likelihood that it would happen by partnering with AEW? I'm just saying, it doesn't make sense for WWE.
A good AEW is good for business, man. All around.
For
the talent and the fans, right? But for WWE, if you wanted to be Machiavellian about all this, you could say by proxy.
Machiavelli. We're talking science.
We're raising everybody's
You don't even need to
IQ.
go to school. You can just watch wrestling is cool. That rhymed. You down the cloud?
Oh, God. I feel like we're a DARE program ready to happen. You don't know that. You don't know what DARE is in America. It was the drugs.
Yeah, no, I do know DARE. That's
okay.
the Reagan thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
DARE. We had cops rap. Drugs are bad. And that's what we had in the combined school.
That's awesome.
I think what WWE could say is like, all right, we could do this, and then we would understand that AEW would implode in itself anyway, regardless. So why don't we just get a little bit of rub? And they could say by proxy, by comparison, WWE, you could be like, look at our brand, and then look at that brand over there. Look what they're doing.
They just put on a show, and they do this partnership, and they just rag on AEW the entire time.
It's like those old school horror movies where they invite the girl over to Carrie. It's a Carrie situation.
Yeah, Carrie situation just to bully AEW. Give them the razzle dazzle.
It's the same thing. What I don't want is AEW to collapse, and then I don't want another Shane McMahon WCW AEW talent going to WWE because there is nowhere else to wrestle for them, and all of a sudden you have that. You got to have a strong AEW, and I think the only Swerve Strickland, the reason why he's putting it out there, it could be a cry for help for Swerve because he hasn't been booked really well as champion from what I've seen. Like I think there's not a lot of good will as a champion for Swerve Strickland, but I think he's putting it out there to get feelers from the crowd, and of course we're gonna love it. But I think as well, if someone listens to it from the WWE side, it would have to be. It's a charitable thing. It'd be cool if they did it for like a cancer research or Connor's cure. I would if they charge $100 a premium live event for that, I would buy it.
I would buy. Oh my god, yeah.
It's never gonna happen again. It's never gonna happen again.
I'd buy it. I'm just thinking of before that, of The Office, Michael Scott's fun run for the cure. That's what I'm thinking.
That's
for the cure, for rabies.
Yes. You should never eat chicken Alfredo. God, that was so disgusting.
What would be the main event? That's a great question.
Main event.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're looking at Kenny Omega, Roman Reigns. Like if you're trying to get the biggest names.
God.
Or Moxley, Roman Reigns. You know what? I changed my mind. Moxley, Roman, Cody, Omega. I think those are your two headliners.
No, because you got Cody Omega already at AEW.
Yeah, but not in WWE.
But
it matters.
That doesn't cook for me. I'd rather see Roman go up against. Well, I think Roman and Kenny wouldn't put on a banger of a match. You would have CM Punk and MJF. That's a given. You would have to.
But you already saw that in AEW. See?
No, you didn't.
Yeah, CM Punk, they did. Yeah,
they never got their blow off. They never got the blow off that they were building
literally
up to.
did the dog collar match.
No, yeah, I know, but you never because CM Punk was the fake AEW champion and he took that belt. You never got that.
Your timing's wrong.
No, I'm not. You never got the conclusion of the end of CM Punk.
I think he was feuding with Moxley at that time, but
there was one more match in CM Punk and MJF that we haven't got yet.
Okay.
Anyway, we would get it here at the PLE, right? I think what you would get, I'd rather see Roman, Moxley, and Seth Rollins.
Oh, finally the Shield triple threat?
Because Moxley becomes the underdog in that match.
Wild thing.
And dude, it's a different Moxley. And then you got something, dude. You got Brotherhood. You got the Hounds of Justice, dude. That's
Sancho.
Magic.
If that match were to happen, over under on Moxley bleeding in 7 minutes.
He bleeds on the way to the ring.
I don't know why, but that's hilarious. It's very Sandman. You've seen Sandman, how he makes himself bleed.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, of course. I think it'd be a great thing to put a butt on this topic. Will it happen? Probably not. It'd be cool if it happened, and I think the only way you have a chance for it happening if it's for charity. I think that'd be neat. And where would it be? It has to be it has to be like in the AT&T Stadium. It has to be in the biggest stadium you could find, like a soccer stadium. It's the only place you could have this PLE. Where would you want it at?
I mean, if we're doing the whole thing where WWE is just tricking AEW to bully them, I'd put this in a bingo hall because that would be hilarious. But if
you WWE mark,
if you're trying to get good business out of this, I think you either go AT&T or MetLife.
Vegas, Allegiant Stadium.
Oh, I hate that city, man. I hate Vegas.
I know. That's the one thing I don't like about WrestleMania.
That it's in Vegas.
And I know people are hyped for it, but we had TwitchCon in Vegas, and people don't understand. It is expensive just to get around that town.
It's brutal. It's so brutal.
And it's hot, and it's annoying. And I'm just going to tell you, all the people that are planning to go to WrestleMania, look at me. Just because it says something's a 0.5 mile walk, it's not. Don't do it. Don't do it. Even though you could see wherever you're walking, don't do it. It is far. Walking out of the casino is far. Walking to another casino is extremely far. Not worth it.
You know what sucks when you're in Vegas? It's like, okay, you're looking for a particular restaurant. Oh, it's like within a casino. That happens a lot, right?
Yes.
You spend all the time to get to the casino, and then it's like another like 10-minute trek within the casino to find the thing that you're looking for. It's annoying. I despise that city. I don't mind the people of Vegas. You guys are cool, but look, man, that city is so expensive. It is. You know what? We might have gotten
the strip is expensive.
Yes,
the strip.
We might have gotten a bad experience because we were there like a month before F1, so everything like main roads, a lot of them were closed, so it made navigation really difficult. But Vegas is not my first choice of places that I'd want to visit.
Yeah, 100%.
Jey Uso. I wanted to talk about Jey Uso. The state of Jey Uso.
Wow, are you?
A lot of people.
A lot of people.
Jey Uso. Let me tell you, a lot of people. A lot of people feel like Jey Uso has fallen off.
Wow.
That Jey Uso.
This is not coming from me. I did not say that.
He did not. Before I go on my little tirade here, I'm curious where you're at.
No. Okay. I want to hear your tirade. Don't let me set the table. This is your world.
Listen, all right. Jey Uso. I've already used this term before. He's in cryostasis. He is waiting for the right opportunity.
Fancy word, but go ahead.
If you look
you
at
could
the
just say he's frozen. Cryostasis.
Cryostasis.
Jurassic Park.
Jey Uso is the biggest babyface on Monday Night Raw, bar none. Can you name me a bigger one right now on Raw that's active? No, you can't. CM Punk is the only one that even comes close, and CM Punk is not around. All right? A lot of people are like, oh my God, Jey Uso's already out of the title picture. He's never going to win a world title. I'm telling you, Jey Uso is going to walk out of this summer as a world heavyweight champion. He is the guy that will walk into SummerSlam as the world heavyweight champion to face Gunther. He is, in fact, the only one that makes sense for Gunther to face off against. You want to know why? Because Drew McIntyre doesn't make sense. He doesn't make sense because Drew McIntyre has CM Punk, and that feud is so big, so heated, that one, it doesn't need a world title. In fact, adding a world title makes it worse because it makes it business as opposed to making it personal. That match, to me, if Punk is ready to go, that's the match that you do at SummerSlam. Damian Priest doesn't make any sense unless you can accurately tell the story within the next month and a half that Damian Priest has left the Judgment Day, that Damian Priest is now a babyface, but I don't buy it and I don't believe it. And frankly, that's too short of an amount of time to tell that story, considering Judgment Day has been a story that's been built up for the past 3 years in the WWE. You can't just all of a sudden implode them and make them disappear and have Damian Priest go off on his own in less than a month and a half. It's not going to happen. The other option is to turn him babyface, but I don't think that you can realistically do it because you can't have Gunther go up against the heel champion. That doesn't work. That would be too weird of a dynamic to have heel versus heel at SummerSlam. But you might be saying, Sancho, but we're getting heel versus heel at Clash at the Castle. Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest, and I'm okay with that. Well, Sancho, that's because that night, it is not heel versus heel. That particular night, it is still going to be the traditional heel versus babyface dynamic because Damian Priest is going to be the biggest heel in all professional wrestling that night, and Drew McIntyre is going to be the most beloved babyface in professional wrestling that night because of where they are. You're still going to get babyface versus heel in terms of dynamics, probably in terms of match choreography, and in terms of how they play up to the crowd. The only way for Gunther to truly solidify himself as a true world champion is he needs to destroy a babyface, a top babyface. And the only guy that is a top babyface on Monday Night Raw is Jey Uso. And he called his shot. He said he's going for Money in the Bank. And here's my prediction. He wins Money in the Bank. At Money in the Bank, Drew McIntyre beats Damian Priest for the title and gets cashed in on again on the same night for the same reason that happened at WrestleMania, because he starts taunting CM Punk or something. Then Jey Uso is going to walk into SummerSlam as the World Heavyweight Champion. This fugazi of people saying that he's not ever going to win championship gold. You are too much blinders on simply because you don't see him main eventing the next PLE. A lot of people think that he's out of the picture because he's not main eventing the next PLE. I'm telling you, he is going into SummerSlam as your World Heavyweight Champion. He is, in fact, the only one that makes sense. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. It's just me, Oos. Day one-ish. For audio listeners, that was me doing. That was probably a weird sound to hear.
I am impressed. I am very impressed. One could say that I was very glazing of Jey Uso.
It was. I kind of repurposed the LA Knight glaze factory. You sublet it to me. You sublet the glaze factory so I can glaze up Jey Uso.
It's like a frozen yogurt shop. You walked in, glazed away. How does it feel? How does it feel to support somebody that is the biggest babyface of your brand and to want it to happen? How does that feel?
It feels logical. It makes sense.
Oh, it makes sense. Logic.
Right,
to have.
Yeah.
Did you feel that it was a slight not to have Jey Uso on a PLE?
No, because I don't think it made sense on Clash at the Castle or King and Queen of the Ring. So
if a top face is not on a PLE, that doesn't hurt their mega stardom.
It depends. In many cases, it can.
Okay, many cases it can. Okay.
Just spit it out. Spit it out, bitch.
Nope. I'm not gonna say it. I'm just letting facts speak for themselves, and that is a fact of life, Santi. That people will soon learn that sometimes I don't have to give my 2 cents. And at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, when the dust is cleared, the truth appears. And you know who that truth is, my friend? LA Knight. Yeah. But I agree. Jey Uso is being manufactured to be the next top babyface. I love that he gives promos in the crowd. That little difference makes him unique. Still kind of needs to figure his way out through that kind of promo, but I thought it was fire. Him sitting next to little baby Oos, talking to the baby Oos in the crowd.
Little Oos.
And it gives me shades of Uso Penitentiary delivering a promo in the audience. I think all that stuff is fun. And and you know what? I can't add. You painted a masterpiece. Well said.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I just feel like people are jumping off the Jey Uso bandwagon a little too quick. And I wasn't even on the Jey Uso bandwagon, by the way, just to clarify. Wow. I just felt like I saw the bandwagon left in the middle of a field, and I had to get on it, and I've now become the conductor of said bandwagon.
You repurposed the bandwagon.
Yes, the glaze wagon. The glaze bus.
Jay Lee, I hate you. I hate you. You're the worst.
You mentioned LA. Well, you didn't actually mention him. Well, you kind of did. Yeah, I guess.
No. You did.
How do you feel about him going after a mid-card title? Logan Paul, him absolutely chewing out poor Carmelo Hayes, who tried to punch above his weight class, got completely destroyed. Logan Paul replied to LA Knight, tagged the wrong account, which was kind of perfect. It's almost like Logan Paul did the Carmelo Hayes botch, but on social media.
I don't think that was an accident. I think Logan's much more clever than that, but go on.
Yeah, because, it gave LA Knight the opportunity to reply exactly the same way that he basically replied to Carmelo Hayes.
Correct. As an LA Knight stan, considering Eminem's back, the way I feel about LA Knight going against Logan, I still have my doubt. There is doubts. Remember, because when they first kind of crossed swords at the very beginning of Money in the Bank, wait, come on, dude. Cross swords, tapping foils.
Okay, I didn't say anything.
You looked at it like you were Jim from The Office.
Keep going. So they're crossing swords.
They're crossing swords. It's fine for men to do. All right. LA Knight had that weird line that he makes videos for young girls.
Oh,
like
that was
girls.
dumb. That was cringe. Yeah.
Very stupid. And LA Knight has that that ability to step in a landmine. Every once in a promo run, he would step on a landmine or
choke himself.
I know. That's what he makes me so endearing to him. I think Logan Paul is just filled with landmines to step on. And Logan Paul will snap at you if you step on a landmine so fast.
Yes.
And Logan Paul has that ability to now torch people. And I think that this would definitely have a fun time, but there's just... I think Logan Paul said, he's like, you want to be a megastar, but Logan Paul is a real megastar.
Are you nervous for LA Knight in
I told you
this encounter?
Yes, I told you earlier when Logan Paul crossed swords with LA Knight, it did not work out for LA Knight. It was because Logan Paul has that millennial, whatever you want to call it, like whatever dumbo, like that's all he has to say. Like, you're stupid, and it just cuts everything in half. Whatever LA Knight's doing. So I think that and at the same time LA Knight could get cooked on socials like heavily, like it's a definitely an underdog situation, and the only way that it's going to work is if Logan Paul sells for LA Knight like he did for Cody, where he's like that moment where they're looking for the brass knuckles and he's like,
Jake's pants.
Yeah. If he does that for LA Knight, maybe. But I don't think LA Knight's going to be on the Logan Impulsive show. Like, it's not going to be the same because he had Randy, he had Cody. LA Knight's not going to get that opportunity, brother.
I am nervous for LA Knight because, like you said, Logan Paul, he's so quick-witted in a way that he's very quick to point out the stupid, and he could very well easily point out the stupidity in LA Knight's chants, his cadence, whatever it might be, might ruin
his
it.
Gimmick completely. Like Logan could sidestep the pro wrestling and jab at him from the social media standpoint, and he can't look. And what is LA Knight going to do? LA Knight cannot fight back. If LA Knight has to follow rules, Logan does not have to follow the same rules that LA Knight does.
You know what LA Knight needs to do?
All ears.
He needs to actually know Logan Paul online lore, and he needs to tackle that. He needs to.
He could do that. He's done it before.
Yeah, but he did it so poorly with the whole making videos for 10-year-old girls. That's pretty much the extent of it. It needs to be better. He needs to tackle the proper lore, whether it's, I don't know, showing cringy videos, talking about his brother, talking about him getting knocked out by losing to KSI, things like that. He needs to.
No, that's the thing. That's my point.
He needs to talk social media.
Logan has to give him that ammunition.
Yes, absolutely.
They need to have a meeting, and LA Knight and Logan need to figure it out. How can we put LA Knight over? Because that's the goal here, right?
Yes.
If we strip it all down, we put kayfabe aside, the goal for Logan Paul is to put LA Knight over in our eyes and in everybody's eyes, and to make LA Knight, lack of a better word, cool to the Logan gang, the Low gang, right? So how is he going to do that? They need to have a meeting so Logan could give him ammunition. And LA Knight could then use that ammunition in his ways that he knows how to use his ammunition.
I agree.
It's not easy for LA Knight. The intensity is going to be there. The wrestling promos are going to be there. But as soon as Logan steps outside the wrestling world and jabs at him in a different way, I think LA Knight is going to It's not going to crumble, but he's going to say something stupid, even worse.
Yeah.
He's going to say something even worse. And I am the LA Knight #1 fan in this room, because this room is just me. But I really do think that you like that dad joke. I got you. The thing really about thank you. The really thing about it is I've had these feelings before. If you're new to wrestling school and you're new to the Hall of Glaze, you know all that kind of fun gimmick stuff that we have here. In the past, I've always said I am scared for this, and this happened with The Miz. It's even worse with Logan Paul.
Dude, Logan Paul might be LA Knight's kryptonite.
That's a good point.
I actually, we saw, how he could. Carmelo Hayes comes at him, swats him, right? Like, you're done. Like, because Carmelo Hayes is playing the same game, the same sport as LA Knight.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes,
but Logan Paul. You think you're playing basketball, he brings a football to the game. Now all of a sudden you can't dribble. Now all of a sudden it's not about getting in the basket. It's a different game altogether when Logan Paul switches it up. And from what the very, very little that we have from LA Knight, he hasn't impressed when it's when the game changes, when the sport changes. He is not impressed.
I think where it happened with Cody and Logan, I think the feud was so short that we couldn't get to that point. And like I've been kind of leaning on here, Logan played ball with Cody.
100%.
And it worked. It worked really well. That build up with Logan and Cody was great. They had that contract signing. Logan's like, I didn't agree to this. He had a litigator. The stooge took the power bomb from Cody. Like, it was wrestling promo 101. I don't think it's going to be a clean fight between Logan and LA Knight. I think LA Knight either oversteps himself and then runs into a landmine, or Logan springs a trap and accidentally buries LA Knight. And may make his first blunder as a quote unquote celebrity in the wrestling world, because you have to put people over. You have to find a way to put LA Knight over, because it is best for business.
100%.
A strong LA Knight is best for business, because what's going to happen if Logan, say Logan does torch him and LA Knight still wins, LA Knight will still have that, you got torched by Logan. Yeah.
That's what happened to Ricochet, man. Ricochet hasn't recovered from his torching to Logan Paul.
He hasn't recovered at all. And look at Ricochet. My man has Band-Aids.
He's hurt every week.
I know. I made a tweet like, my man lives in medical. Like they keep nerfing Ricochet to justify his losses. And I don't like that either. That's so dumb. That's lazy Triple H creative there. Let's make our faces have injuries. What, a heel doesn't have injuries going into a wrestling match?
It's always the face, baby.
It's always the face with the tape.
The face.
My man Ricochet has like this whole entire side, dude. They sold an action figure. It should have a big Band-Aid right there.
You talked about Triple H booking. Let's talk about the quintessential Triple H booking, the thing that he's known for, the Bloodline. Bloodline 2.0. We got Weekend Solo Sikoa and his backup dancers. I can't feel my face when they're literally color coordinated backup dancers. They look silly, dude. They look silly. The Bloodline now
like Team Rocket, dude.
Dude, yes, that's such a good way to put it. They look like Team Rocket. Prepare for trouble and make it double. They look silly, dude.
It's bad. Even Paul Heyman looks. I know you like the Paul Heyman promo, but I didn't like it with Kevin Owens.
Okay.
It's too much to me. Paul Heyman selling the fact that this Bloodline 2.0 is ruthless. They use words that I'm not comfortable with, because they're using words like savages, criminals. They have a terrible background. They are unable. Roman didn't want them in the Bloodline because they're criminals, and we couldn't get them into Saudi because of their background. And it's just like so many different things that don't sit well with me in describing the Bloodline. It's supposed to be about the Samoa family, like the Bloodline, and then they're doing this angle that I don't see on my TV screen. That's where there's a disconnect for me. You're telling me that Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa are the baddest dudes on planet Earth? I'm not buying it. They're not wrestling that way. They're not acting that way. They're doing yeah, and they're hulking up to take punishment like Tonga Loa did, but it is not coming across on what they're wearing and what they're doing. They're too sleek. They're too polished. They're not enough ruthless. Like, that's what they're selling to me. And even the commentary is doing it. So I got Paul telling me that they're bad. I got Wade Barrett. I got Corey Graves hitting it over and over and over. And I'm just looking at the screen like, these dudes they're not bad dudes. If it was Jacob Fatu, I would believe it. But these two guys, after their tag match they had against Street Profits, I don't see any ruthlessness. They're not choking with the ropes. They're not doing a lot of heel basic stuff that will make you go, these guys suck. I don't want to see them wrestle my favorite face, because they're too mean. They're not breaking ankles. Now, someone brought up to me in my watch parties like, well, Solo hurt Jimmy. Like, yes. Where's more of that?
That's the ruthlessness that we need. Yes.
Where's Tama Tonga crashing into Kevin Owens? That's the kind of stuff that I was expecting them to run roughshod. Go after more faces on SmackDown. Maybe go invade Raw, for crying out loud. Let them be a problem. Let them go to Raw, cause a ruckus. Adam Pearce goes, Nick Aldis, you need to get a hold of him. Remember, it was Nick Aldis that was losing control of the Bloodline. He was telling Paul, you need to keep him in check because there's more than just consequences in losing. What happened to that? All of a sudden, the Bloodline just gets regulated into Paul Heyman scared for his life, and then a really sick entrance. My thing is they need to pull the trigger and get rid of Paul. Go ahead and cut that.
Destroy Paul,
destroy Paul, like really destroy Paul.
That would work. That would actually work. But you're right, I'm with you. I do think that there is a disconnect in terms of the bill of goods that they're selling us versus the actual product that we're receiving, it doesn't quite align, because Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga versus the Street Profits was a good match. Why are these guys that are...
Is there air conditioning on? I hear
it might be. I think it might have just went on. Why are these guys that are so ruthless and evil, why are they having just good wrestling matches as opposed to destroying and borderline on-screen maiming people?
They look like authors of pain.
That's a bold... Ooh.
Are you telling me that you took out the Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga and put authors of pain in that same thing? Wouldn't it look the same?
No, come on. It's not oh God, it is a little bit like authors.
Because they're not cutting promos, they're not saying anything. There's no personality with them. Beyond just I
think the best way to really describe, like, for example, when it was the Usos as the tag team, they were
had
characters.
Personality.
They had storylines, they had their own individualized personalities. These guys just sort of seem like weapons without a personality. They just sort of seem like material battle tanks, right? Like, send these guys out to win, but there's no, I don't know. There's no character to them. There's no reason to be scared of them, because all of their personality is just derived from Solo Sikoa,
who lacks personality.
Who is only just learning to exude personality. Like, he's still just learning, and to have those two guys and be entirely built off of Solo Sikoa, I think it's a tough sell.
Very tough. And that's why they're so heavy-handed with it. And I'm just exhausted. And I know a lot of people are like, sit back, enjoy the ride, let things happen. You guys are too critical. But after week, I just can't take it. I can't take this blood. Like, like I said, they're selling now too hard. In the past, they were just mentioning it, and they were talking about the New Japan history, but now they're just, you gotta stop telling me and show me how ruthless they are. Let them run roughshod. Let them take over one SmackDown, just one SmackDown, where nothing happens on SmackDown because Bloodline is now taking over, and Nick Aldis has to plead for help. Let Nick Aldis lose control, because I think what SmackDown does lack compared to Adam Pearce feels like he can't control that roster. And it's in mayhem over there. Braun Breaker is running loose. The women are at each other. He has to make up matches on the fly. Nick Aldis, total control. He literally can control the Bloodline. No problem.
Yeah, but they're making us believe like he can't. Like he shouldn't be able to, I guess I should say.
He shouldn't be able to. That's how crazy the Bloodline is. And I think that's where, on paper, that's where the disconnect. It's just a slight disconnect. And it could be details, just a little details, little pivot. It's not like it's not like the project's not working, let's just scrap it all. It's just a little pivot. Let's just pivot a little bit, bring up the intensity, maybe add a squash match in there somewhere. Maybe they should have squashed the Street. They should have squashed the Street Profits.
I agree.
Why not?
Yeah. Or gotten themselves disqualified where they don't care about wins. They just care about causing pain.
Exactly.
They can lose. They can be like, whatever, I'm just going to grab a chair and start beating you. Ref, I don't care what you say. I don't care about the win. I just care about causing pain right now.
Because that's what I'm signed to do. I'm here to cause pain. Mm-hmm. And don't tell me that they can't squash the Street Profits. The WWE squashed New Day with the Authors of Pain, okay?
So if they're there to cause pain, do you think that they're there to author it? Authors of pain? Santi, you mentioned it, but apologies if you are hearing an AC unit. I'm still learning the nuances of this new house.
I just want to get ahead of it because the comments, the brains just go.
This will be the only week. I promise.
Are you in your own room? Describe to me the room that you're in.
I'm actually in a nook in a corner in the basement.
Oh, you're in the basement.
Yeah, I'm in the basement, which is probably why.
Is it kooky in there?
Is it cooking?
cookie, like cookie.
What does that mean?
Cookie. Scooby-Doo cookie.
Like
you're making me say the pastry. Cookie.
Oh, like an actual like the thing that you eat, a cookie?
No, you idiot. It's like spooky. Kooky.
Oh, kooky, like cuckoo.
Yeah.
Cuckoo. Like
no, like spooky, eerie, kooky.
No one says that. Just say spooky.
Is the word.
No way. No. Okay. Comments. He just made that up. If you're referring to something, you made that up.
It's spooky kooky.
No, you made that up. Does anyone here realistically use the word kooky to describe to something scary? Never in my life.
It's not to say something scary. It's to say that something is kooky, you idiot.
Define kooky.
It's like creepy and spooky at the same
time. So it is
to
describe something creepy.
Yeah, and one phrase, one word, creepy and spooky.
Spooky encompasses all of that.
Yes, but creepy and spooky is kooky.
But creepy and spooky is like
no, it's
spooky.
Not.
No, we're not moving on. Spooky, all right, encompasses creepy as well. If something is creepy, I could say that's spooky, and you don't need to say kooky.
Yeah, no.
See, what about skooky? Can I say that? In your spooky, dumbass little language here?
Spooky is fear-based. Creepy is ew based. Together, kooky is ew and fear. Kooky.
You made that up.
Okay.
Comments. Okay. This is where you need to come out to fight for your side.
This is where you miss out on Patreon, by the way. This is where things. We have so many debates about randomness, and that is one of them.
So, anyways.
You're so kooky, brother.
Brother, call me that again, and not by my proper term of spooky, and we're going to have problems.
Is Uncle Howdy kooky or spooky?
Spooky. No one would, dude.
He's kooky.
If Corey
he's kind of corny,
he's
corny. He's corny. Uncle Howdy is a little corny. Come on.
If Corey Graves said, "Oh, this is spooky," you're like, "Oh." If he came out and said, "This is kooky," you're like, "Oh, dude, this is so friggin' stupid."
Wade Barrett goes, "This is kooky." No, let's quickly pivot real quick to Uncle Howdy. This has been happening, QR codes left and right. More of this strangers vibe, if you want to put a horror movie to it, where the people in masks are kind of coming into your house, invading your house. There's a lot of like wedding gowns and things of that sort and weirdness. I know people have been enjoying this ride, and you seem to be back on track with it because I see you post about it, and that lets me know that you care about it a little bit. For you to put your little hashtags and put it on one of your 1,000 TikToks, you're enjoying the ride. They need to step it up and put the wrestlers in the arena. Like they kind of did that a little bit, but they need to start being in the background of a kind of a interview. They need to have it where Xavier and there's like a cool chill. They need to have something like that, man.
I don't think we're going to see anything.
It cannot live on. It cannot all live online. It cannot.
I mean, it did with Bray Wyatt, but that's Bray Wyatt. People were a lot more patient with Bray Wyatt. This is Bo Dallas and a bunch of other people that were never really superstars in the WWE.
I think what they should have done was they should have paced this out a little bit differently. They should have released that Bray Wyatt documentary now. So that way we're in that spirit. We're in that mood to accept this. Kookiness.
Would you be more open to the timing if this happened to be like October?
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Be all about it, man. But yeah, of course you can't change the timing.
Yeah.
I just think that WWE, they could cool off on it. Just like let it disappear for a bit, and then we go, what happened? And then bam, Uncle Howdy. I mean, come on. How can you keep building up to this point? You know, it's like it's hitting me. It's like jabbing me over and over and over and over and over again.
It is interesting that the most recent little story bit that we got was they basically took over the first like 2 minutes of WWE Raw talk. So it is kind of cool to see them taking over an entire portion of the show, of a WWE show. Now make that on Raw. Show. Now make that on Raw.
That's what I mean.
Make that on Raw. At some point, we have Tegan Knox is about to cut a promo. Boom!
Oh, wow.
We just gets taken over by Uncle Howdy or something.
Or have Isla Dawn and IB Fire have some kind of like something washed over them, and they're like, there's a connection. There's a spooky, kooky vibe here.
They start reciting their words. Oh, I just got to chill.
See?
Oh, that is kind of kooky.
You see, you got there's so many. I think what it is about it when we're in unique positions here, Santi. Our jobs is to watch wrestling very closely and critically because we provide content for the people that want to hear our thoughts, and at the same time, we provide reactionary content to TikTok and Instagram and things of that sort. So I'm watching things with a keen eye and the eagle eye. And if my taste has been salivating for something new, I feel that there's people out there that feel the same way. Just give me Uncle Howdy vibes, but in a different way. Don't let him be a QR code. Don't let it be this static image and flashing and then like repeating the things, taking over digital shows. Get him on that main roster. It's time.
It's time.
I don't need to see him completely. I don't need to know his voice. I don't need to see the name of it. And for crying out loud, stop being hip to it, man. Get these commentators off of it because it's ruining the fun.
I agree.
I'm on your QR code. Who really crazy thing happening here? Oh.
I'd be more okay with them acknowledging it if it took over a portion of Raw.
What if it took over Michael Cole? Like took Michael Cole out?
Look, I think it'd be kind of cool. All right, picture this. All right, picture. All right, okay. You with me here? You with me here? All right, you know how like it could cut after a match. It cuts to Michael Cole and Pat McAfee.
Mm-hmm. It
cuts to them and they're not there. It's just the Uncle Howdy message popping up. I think that'd be kind of cool. And then there's just no acknowledgement of Cole and Pat McAfee having disappeared. They just come back afterwards.
Or there's a comment like the feed gets interrupted and Uncle Howdy's people do the commentary for one match.
Oh. Okay, look, I know that's it would have been a Bray Wyatt thing, but it would have been awesome if it was like Rambling Rabbit and Mercy the Buzzard commentating over a match.
Just something different. Yeah. That's all I'm looking for. I mean, even make it to where LA Knight loses because of something.
Oh, stop trying to involve LA Knight in everything.
He was the last dude to face Bray Wyatt.
You're right, I guess. All right,
Thank you. Didn't he cut a promo that says,
it was
once a great man told me,
yes.
Blah, 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 and then he said, run. Come on. No.
Okay, you're right.
I'm
apologizing.
He's the last one. No, I didn't hear you say I'm sorry. You said you're right.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There, I did it. New heat order?
Yeah. New heat order? Sure. I'm down. Let's talk about
Yeah.
Wait, before we do that, can we do the blank is cool? I just want to talk about Damian Priest.
Yeah, talk about Damian Priest.
I want to talk about Damian Priest. He has a fantastic new entrance. Did you see his new entrance?
Yes.
Did you?
I didn't notice it was
blurry.
New. I'll be honest, I didn't notice it was new.
It was blurry, and they had the fire, and he comes in like a blurred out silhouette, and the fire is rising, and then like the camera focuses, and he has his belt in the air. I was like, oh,
okay.
That cooked, dude. It was spicy, and I like that idea. This guy comes from Brimstone, and Damian's stepping up, man. His promos are getting better. His trash talk is getting better. Taking pages like we talked about. Roman Reigns talking trash in the ring. Had a fantastic match against Rey Mysterio. I thought he got hurt though. There was a moment where Rey kind of jumps over him into a hurricanrana, and he like lands right on the top of Damian's head.
I noticed it too.
I feel like he got like a stinger of some sort because he lost a lot of power. Like when he took the 619 and kind of stumbled into the mid rope, I was like, that was weird. It looked like he got tingly in his legs for a little bit. In which you ever experienced that before? Where you get like shock absorbed, and all of a sudden,
I had that in football. It scared me so much. I actually retired from football.
It's like a power reset. Yeah. It's freaky.
It's so freaky.
It is so weird. So Damian had a banger of a match in Rey Mysterio, and then he literally south of heaven Drew McIntyre like he was nothing. Did you see that south of heaven on the table?
Yeah, dude, he chucked him.
He chucked him, and that's to me is awesome thing. And he did a little bit something different. we criticized him, or I criticized him because Judgment Day was becoming like dad's coming home, everybody behave type of vibe, but he was different. And one thing I wanted to point out in the early Liv Morgan, it's important that Judgment Day were boys before Liv Morgan destroys them, because Damian goes, hey man, my fault, my bad. You were there to protect me at Backlash. Let's be cool about it. And so for him to come back and like kind of like put everything aside, I thought that was rather cool. Very cool for them. I just want to say that Damian Priest is cool.
I'll keep mine short. I want to give a quick cool shout out to Apollo Crews, getting some TV time, demonstrating, reminding the world that he's actually a really good in-ring talent, and seems like he's getting a storyline with Legado, with Angel Garza. And I do feel like they should use these unused talents more like this for micro feuds, just to give them a chance to impress. Give them a chance to become sticky. Because if you never give Apollo Crews a chance, then people are not going to ever really know what he's about. But
dude, he had that sick gorilla press.
Yeah, dude. Woo. Like just give, like, I think of like Cedric Alexander. Give him a 2-3 week micro feud. Doesn't hurt. Give him a chance to get over.
I feel that sometimes feuds tend to be two-dimensional. It's always just two sides. That's it. But I like your point. You could use these other wrestlers to kind of build up one wrestler and to build up a layer of the feud to show that, you know, Angel Garza is being pulled in two different directions. He has to impress Santos, and then he tries to do it with bringing Andrade. It blows up in his face. Because he tries to impress Andrade and Santos, he gets his feud with Apollo Crews.
Sure.
It kind of works.
It kind of does.
It kind of works. And I think sometimes the WWE does get in trouble when they create simple feuds where it's this guy versus that guy, but it gets a little spicy when they add another couple of wrestlers, because that's what I like about Otis versus Chad. The spice is Maxine and Tozawa and Sami Zayn and Bronson Reed. There's a little bit of that. Would you eat there?
No. The Salt Bay place? No, not interested at all.
You don't want a guy's little forearm
I absolutely do not want a guy's forearm salt.
Scenario. A straw rolls off. Your straw falls on the floor. Do you use the straw?
No.
No? You get another straw?
I got another straw.
If I licked my fingers and touched the top of your cup, like if I go, oh, let me get you a cup, like that, would you still drink out of that cup?
No.
Okay. Even if it was me?
Triple if it was you.
Oh, okay. The new Heat order, for those of you who don't know, is where the buzz, the heat, the fun is all the excitement that's happening inside the ring on the main event roster of SmackDown and Raw, sometimes with sprinkling NXT if it bleeds over. But this is your new Heat order. Now, I want to preface this, Santi. I know people are saying they need a visual of the new Heat order. I have figured something out. I just haven't had time to do it. It's going to be nice. It's going to be clean. It's going to be for you. We, the people here at Wrestling School, listen to you, the people, when it comes to feedback. This is your new Heat order, and we have to keep this quick because I have to go see the screening of Garfield at noon. Let's go. My priorities
I thought it was a Monday. That would have been hilarious if it was a Monday.
He hates Mondays.
He does.
Number 1 is Liv Morgan. Number 2, Dominic Mysterio. Number 3, King Gunther. Number 4, Braun Breaker. Number 5, Cody Rhodes. Number 6, Jordan Grace. Number 7, Damian Priest. Number 8, Drew McIntyre. Number 9, Alpha Academy. Number 10, AJ Styles. And we didn't even talk about AJ Styles' fake retirement ceremony. What a fun ride that was. I saw it come in from a mile away, but it was still a fun ride.
Can I say something really, really quick about that? I know you need to go.
Sure.
People that are like, how did you not see it coming? Dude, let it go. Not everyone was around for the Mark Henry thing.
Apparently Cody wasn't either.
Yeah, that's who you should be embarrassed for, Cody. You didn't see it coming. But like the fan that's like, I didn't see it coming. And I see so many people being like, yo, you dumb. You didn't see it coming. Dude, it's 10 years ago. There's so many new wrestling fans. And on top of that, like, it was executed really, really well. And if you saw it coming, it's not necessarily that you should go out and tell the people that you're smart that you saw it coming. That's WWE doing a little wink, wink, nod, nod to you. That's your reward for sticking with WWE for so long. It's not because you know about it that you're smarter. That's an Easter egg for you to enjoy, and for you. You're being celebrated for having been around this long. Don't rub it in people's faces that they didn't see it coming. But I saw it coming a mile away.
For sure. Looking at this list is kind of packed. I would have to take out Jordan Grace.
Fair.
She's off at number 6. I want to take off King Gunther because he doesn't have anything really lined up for him. He did step out and had that little moment with Damian for a little bit, but I think there's a lot of people worth more talking about. I know Nia Jax is not on this list as queen, and she has something with Michin. I think that's kind of okay. That will only leave one person to put, because I think everybody else on this list is justified. Braun Breaker. Maybe you take off Cody Rhodes. I mean, he does have that thing with AJ, so I think he stays. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, I think, are cooking in Alpha Academy. So literally I don't know if you agree to this, but do you think one person is the only thing that takes off is Jordynne Grace?
For now. Yeah, for now.
And do you want to take off King Gunther?
Gunther wasn't even on Raw, so yeah.
Okay. So there's 2 spots available. Do you agree to that?
I agree to that.
Okay. Who would you want to put on the list in the 2 spots?
I think we got to jump up AJ Styles.
Okay, of course. But can I put in a moment here for LA Knight? Can the people of LA Knight reach out to you? Does my man deserve a spot for calling out Logan Paul directly?
Not top 5, but up there. He's in the top 10.
Okay. I will. Okay. Now, who's another superstar that joins in the 8 that we have that we will need to?
Do we have Ludwig Kaiser on there?
I'm not sold on Ludwig yet. He's on the bubble for me. He's on the bubble for me. He's on the bubble. He did beat Sheamus clean.
He was on the bubble last week. How did he not win you over?
He could be on the bubble now. He could be on the bubble now.
Okay, fine.
I kind of want to put Braun Strowman on there.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, I'm trying to think of SmackDown because Bloodline's not in. Yeah, LA Knight and Logan. Yeah, Carmelo who got torched. What else happened at SmackDown?
I mean, do we have Dominic on this list? Obviously, I'm assuming. Okay,
he's at 2 right now.
Yeah.
I still have Liv and Dom at 2.
Okay.
Who is at 3? In that right after that, I'm going to put AJ Styles at 3.
I think AJ Styles. Honestly, I think it could be 1 this week. I think it could be AJ and then Liv and Dom right after.
Okay. Yeah. People are undermining the greatness of that fake retirement, which was executed beautifully, by the way.
Yes.
So I'm going to put Cody after Dom on 4. Because I'm interested to see how Cody responds.
Okay.
So that leaves us AJ 1, Liv 2, Dom 3, 4, Cody. Who's going to be 5? Now, may I make a kind of a plead for you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to change my mind. Alpha Academy at 4.
Ooh, love that.
Cody Rhodes at 5.
I would have Alpha Academy for Braun Breaker 5.
Ooh.
I have Braun Breaker over Cody right now.
Okay. Yes. Now we're cooking. All right. Braun. There's so many, like, especially with Ilya, like
for stuff, man. For free.
And I love it that it doesn't have to do with King of the Ring.
Yes.
I think Adam Pearce is a genius.
Nah.
He's like the Michael Scott of the GMs. He just fell into this genius. Okay, so that puts Cody Rhodes at 6. So we have Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and who else do we want to put on the list?
I think Drew and Damian could be 7, 8, just like how they were last week.
I'm going to put Damian over Drew.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay. All right, Drew Mac. Okay. And who did we say that we're going to add to this? LA Knight?
I think we should have Kevin Owens. The segment with Paul Heyman didn't do it for you?
No, that didn't do it for me because I don't like it when a face undermines the heel, because he was in a sense of this way, where he's like, hurry up, get to the ring, spit it out, get to the point.
Mm-hmm.
That's beauty
Kevin
in
Owens,
Paul Heyman.
That's Kevin Owens.
I know, but the beauty of Paul Heyman is he doesn't get to the point. Don't let me enjoy Paul Heyman for his ramblings. Don't cut the man off so soon. Let him flounder a little bit more, then you could cut him off. I don't know. It didn't do anything for me, but I think Kevin Owens isn't used as a guy he is the bridge to your next story. He's not the story right now for me.
Okay.
And it's the same thing right now with Sami Zayn. He is not the story. He's the bridge of that story.
I agree.
Okay, we already put Alpha Academy together with Otis. I'm gonna put LA Knight here.
Okay.
As a temporary at 9.
I'm okay with him just being on there.
Okay.
Give me Ludwig at 10, and then we have a list.
Oh.
I negotiated with the country of LA Knight, and you need to give something in return. Give me Ludwig at 10. I'm just saying
there's a more deserving country than Ludwig, though.
Okay, name me one, because you haven't said anything.
I'm trying to think.
Well, if you need to think, then you probably can't think of one that's more deserving than Ludwig.
What about Lyra and Io?
No. They had a 10-second segment on Raw. This guy had like a 25-minute match with Sheamus that he won, that he was actually really good in. His first singles feud. It's Ludwig, and you just don't want to see it. Put Ludwig on. I will leave this podcast. Ludwig.
All right, folks, this is your top 10. And again, we're going to figure out a graphic in the next podcast. I promise you. It's just, this is the way we do things. We are running a lot of different levers.
Are people wanting a graphic?
They want a graphic, but I have an idea, and it's going to work out nicely. But I'm trying to explain to people at home is that we are operating very, very efficiently, and believe it or not, a graphic would kind of fumble.
Yeah, a lot. And it's only then audio people wouldn't really benefit from the graphic either.
Even my idea wouldn't be a graphic, wouldn't benefit, but it just adds a step to the process that will create a domino effect in everything else that we do for the Wrestling is Cool podcast and for Santi's daily YouTube upload. So we got to respect that. It's like the streak. We cannot just end the streak
for a graphic.
For nothing. For a new hero graphic. All right, so here's the top 10. Number 10, Ludwig. Number 9, LA Knight. Number 8, Drew Mack. Number 7, Damian Priest. Number 6, Cody Rhodes. Number 5, Braun Breaker. Number 4, Alpha Academy. Number 3, Dominic Mysterio. Number 2, Liv Morgan. And number 1, AJ Styles. Dude, he was crying. And he said that banger of a line, I guess I'll go home, be a phenomenal dad. And I'm like, oh.
Dude, and that's right out of Mark Henry's too. I'm coming home. He said something about coming home to his kids, like the same way that AJ Styles said. It's so good.
And I love that the hint of the baby blue, not the salmon, but the pastel baby blue.
Yeah, dude. Anyone that comes with these slightly off-colored suits, fake retirement. Yeah. Don't trust them.
You think AJ Styles reforms Bullet Club? I think that's where they have to go, because my only gripe about Cody versus AJ was not enough big build up for that feud. They didn't have enough time to do it because it was literally the next PLE after WrestleMania. This will add a little bit more time, but still not a strong build-up if they were going to do this at Clash. I think this is a SummerSlam match for Cody. If they build up properly by letting AJ rehash the Bullet Club storylines.
Maybe. It's possible. I don't know if you can... I mean, they stretched out Cody Brock all the way through to SummerSlam last year in that trilogy, so maybe. It's possible. It's possible.
Anyways, he's number 1.
Let's bring it home. All right, folks. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Wrestling is Cool podcast. Sancho, what are you working on these days? What do you want to tell the people about?
I want to tell the people that to definitely join the Patreon, please. I am putting a lot of effort into that bad boy. It is very, very worth your $5. It's guaranteed a good time because you're going to get the awesome slate of matches that we have this week from Match Club, but you're going to get everything else in the past. And I put it in collections so you could easily find every single Match Club that we've done.
Shout out to Sancho for carrying this Patreon over the last month.
The load.
Carrying the load. Yeah, go check out the Patreon, folks. That's what I want to shill out as well. Patreon.com/SantiZap. I'm telling you, it's the best. It's the best $5 you're going to spend in the world of professional wrestling. The best $5. All right, folks. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Wrestling is Cool podcast. Take care and be excellent people. Bye.